Aldi and Lidl, the two most popular discount giants. If you love a good bargain, chances are you frequently shop at one of them. Plus, with the prices rising, you might not have a choice. But it all started with Aldi, short for Albrecht Discount. The grocery store chain is actually two separate companies that was owned by two brothers, Aldi Süd and Aldi Nord. But it all started as a family grocery store in 1913 in Essen, Western Germany. Karl and Theo Albrecht overtook their family business from their mother in 1946. But then later, in 1960, the company split because of an argument about whether or not cigarettes should be sold at the till. So now the north of Germany has Aldi Nord and south of Germany, Aldi Süd. Also, based on this Wikipedia article, Theo was a prisoner of war camp and he was kidnapped. Just some fun facts to throw in there. However, Lidl came into the picture a bit later, in 1930s. But the first modern Lidl, whatever that means, opened in 1973 in Ludwigshafen. They pretty much copied the concept of Aldi. In 1932, Josef Schwarz became a partner in Südfrüchte Großhandlung, Lidl and Co. that was focusing on general food wholesales. But in 1977, under his son Dieter Schwarz, they decided to lean into discount store strategy and basically copy Aldi's concept. The original name of the store was Schwarzmarkt, meaning black market, which turned out to be not so appealing. So they of course wanted to change the name, and they wanted to change it to Josef Schwarz's former business partner, A. Lidl. But for legal reasons they could not do that. However, later they came across a newspaper article about Ludwig Lidl, who was a painter and retired school teacher. So they bought the rights to the name from him for 1,000 German marks, which now is worth almost $600. Discount traits. Even though these stores have different upbringings, nowadays both of them have very similar features and cost-cutting strategies. So let's dive into those. There's a limited selection. Like, look at this fruit and vegetable aisle at Kaufland. And now look at Aldi's. You can find 10 different types of potatoes, and at Aldi just around 4. So you won't be spending around 5 minutes looking at the potatoes confused and deciding which one to take. So it might not be that bad. The discount stores have just the bare essentials and the seasonal stuff, like strawberries and asparagus. Then obviously, the store is not really aesthetically pleasing since everything is stored in the boxes they are delivered in. Unlike the regular supermarkets you see in music videos and movies, everything is nicely unpacked on the shelves. Carrying their own brands. There are a few name brand options. Usually it's the most important ones like Coca-Cola and Oreo. And the rest are the brands that you probably won't find in other stores. Or maybe you will, it's from the same factory but they're just packaged differently. On the other hand, you won't be tempted to buy something seldom because of the design, since the designs most of the time look very basic and generic. The stores have also a limited amount of staff that do every task from unpacking the delivered goods to basically managing themselves, often leading to too little cash registers open and big lines. Bakeries and stores. I mean, almost every grocery store has them, but the breads and pastries look good and they even have a bread cutter. Their exclusive selection of food, be it gourmet-looking breakfast spreads or gnocchi that looked promising but taste just okay. Or maybe more international tastes like Italian, Greek, Asian and even Slavic foods. Because their target group are locals, they typically are lacking in providing foreign and international foods or ingredients. But therefore they make up for it by having this food for a limited amount of time and a bit below average quality. The treasure aisle experience. The section of the store dedicated to random, seasonal or not so seasonal non-food items like a suitcase, a grill, a boogie board, a skateboard, and a pasta maker? Wow. And when the item is sold out, it does not get restocked, maybe a year later if it had high demand. The stores do not play any music. No music equals no licensing fees and no enjoyment while shopping. So the customers are focused on being efficient and leaving as quickly as possible. And lastly, very little cash registers, so you have to speedrun packing your groceries every time, because otherwise you're gonna get mad glares or stank stares. Around the world, both stores are also established internationally. There are around 12,490 Aldis and around 11,900 Lidls in the world. Globally, Lidl is known as Lidl. But interestingly, Aldi Süd is also known as Hofer in Austria Italy, Switzerland and Hungary. Whereas Aldi Nord rebranded as Trader Joe's in the US, which is a popular and beloved store in the US. It all started with the founder of Trader Joe's, Joe Cullum. The company began in 1958 as a convenience store called Pronto Market in Los Angeles. Later, when 7-Eleven decided to dominate the whole world, Cullum felt that the original Pronto Market was too similar, so he rebranded as Trader Joe's. And they changed their strategy as well, converting to a quirky, affordable grocery store for young adults. So in 1967, the first store branded as Trader Joe's opened. But in the 1970s, there were many financial problems. So in 1979, Theo Albrecht, the owner and CEO of Aldi Nord, swooped in and bought the company. Meanwhile, Aldi Süd is known as Aldi in America. Plus, when I went to Aldi Nord, I saw a trace of Trader Joe's in the snack section. Look, it even says Trader Joe's. They had their logo on the nuts. These nuts. Customer experience. So far, my experience with Aldi in other European countries besides Germany is not as good. It usually looks a bit less inviting and somehow unappreciated. On the other hand, my experience with most Lidls were somewhat a bit more inviting and friendly looking, even though they're both discount stores. But personally, out of two Aldis, I think I prefer Aldi Süd, even though they sell very similar products, and by very similar I mean pretty much the same thing. Somehow Aldi Nord made me less welcomed. Probably because of their prison-looking like shelves. Store sizes. No matter where you are, the stores are typically small, unless they're bigger than just small. The closer the store is to the city center or busy streets, the smaller the store is. And bigger stores I found further away from the city center. But by American standards, they are all still small. I've noticed that Aldis in particular like to be somewhere on your way to work from home. Meanwhile, Lidl likes to pay cheaper rent and is located somewhere further away. Adapting. As mentioned before, both stores try to please the locals by adapting to their surroundings. They offer more or less the kinds of products based on the country. In Germany, the motherland of both discounters, they have all things German, like Wurst, frozen pretzels, gummy bears, kid meat, and sauerkraut juice. Blech. And these canned fruit desserts things. And if you look at the Netherlands, unlike other countries, efficiency in the kitchen is key. So there you will find a lot of pre-cut vegetables and almost ready meals for lunch or dinner. Plus they also sell actually good peanut butter. And lastly, in Latvia, the first Lidl opened in 2021. And it was a big hit based on the big queues to enter the store. And there you can find a lot of cheese and milk products, which you won't find in other Western countries, unless it's marketed like it has more protein. But maybe you're wondering which one is better, Aldi or Lidl? So I conducted a little experiment. I've seen it before done many times, but why not do it myself? It took me multiple tries to find products that are pretty much identical or fulfill the same purpose, but I did it. And now it's time for the taste test. To help me decide which discount store tastes better, I have invited my local food discount store expert, Julien.
Oh, thank you. Merci, thank you.
You can taste it. First up, we have the frozen salami pizza. The pizza you get when you feel really cheap and you have lowered your standards. Okay, so you can start tasting.
I mean, it tastes good, but also I'm hungry. Okay, there's a clear difference. This one is definitely worse. This one is very dry and almost crunchy, but in a bad way. This one is nice and soft and has a lot of flavor. This one is my favorite.
Next up, we have orange juice. Same price, but different percentage of juice. Don't blame me, I couldn't find anything else. You have 2 orange juices in front of you, and you can have a sip.
Okay, doesn't have any pulp. This one tasted fine, tasted good. Didn't taste too fake. Oh, this one's tough. They're very similar. Okay, I prefer the right one because the left one is sourer, more sour.
Now a poor attempt on Pringles chips. Doesn't sound good. None of them stood out to be better than the other.
I cannot.
Is it a draw?
It's a draw. They're exactly the same chip.
So we checked and apparently they were made in the same factory. Cola Zero. We have Crimea River from Aldi and Freeway to Hell from Lidl.
It's not very intrusive in a good way, because I usually hate Cola Zero or Light. This one is the winner for me personally. This one, if you like Cola Zero, you might prefer this one over this one. But if you prefer cola, then I think this one is better.
Tea. Black tea. My favorite thing to drink during breakfast. Unfortunately, because I made the tea, I didn't realize that I could recognize the teas based on the mug. But all in all, they are basically the same. Hot water with a bit of flavor. So I don't give any points to anyone. It always says on the package that you have to steep for 3 to 5 minutes, but then it's so strong. Like, who are you steeping? Who are you lying to? And lastly, I wanted to end it all with the veggie burger. Cooking the patty according to the instructions, accidentally burning both of them, and assembling them in a similar manner, with ketchup, mayo, lettuce, pickles, tomatoes, and cheese. And here are the two cross sections. Let's dive in. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of either, mainly because I prefer my burger patties as thin as a pile of sticky notes. But I think I like the Aldi burger less, because it's all red, it looks like it's raw, and the texture is very meaty, which I actually don't like. So if you're a meaty person, maybe this is the one, but I'm going with Lidl. So if we tally it all up, by a landslide, Lidl wins the competition of the taste test. But I do have to deduct a point from them, since the coffee and hot chocolate machine was out of order and I was really looking forward to it. But still, Lidl wins, so congratulations, Lidl. But in the end, it doesn't even matter, because either way you're gonna shop to the store closest to you. Thank you for watching, don't forget to eat your vegetables, and comment what's your favorite vegetable, I guess. Bye! Oh, and if you're wondering which peanut butter is better, they both suck. They both have sugar and palm oil. I don't recommend any. Unless you're in the Netherlands.